How you doing? We're just going to do a quick video here on your new van. Show you where things are. Just come into it here. Now, when you come in the habitation door, just over the door on the right hand side you have your main control panel. It's basically up the top left here. We have a main on off switch. Just turns everything off. It'll power down everything. There's a couple of lights will work independent of it. Your entrance light will work independent of it. So we push this to switch it back on. We'll just push this next button is the water pump button. You can leave that on all the time because the pump's automatic. It'll only come on as it's needed. Next one down we've our water levels. Showing us our freshwater tank is full. Wastewater tank is empty. Get that to focus. Just go back here. Next one is our battery levels. We can see our leisure battery, engine battery, and what's happening. It shows us amp drains, solar power going in, whole lot there and that. This side here is for your lights. So this is a main switch for your inside lights. You can leave that on. Your lights have switches on them. You can turn them on and off individually. This is your outside light, and this will power down, dim down those under the counter lights. And you can go into your settings here if you want to change times or all sorts of different things. You can select your using a leisure battery here. We could change over to use what the battery's charging. Solar panel battery, so you could change over your solar panel to charge the vehicle battery or the leisure battery, and that'll change over for charging. Leave the hand smart there. Tank fill, tank heaters, all that stuff inside there. What lights will turn on with the power button, dimming levels, all sorts of things. Let you play away with that. Now on the left hand side here we have our heating controls. You've all the heating in this is kind of a radiator system instead of the blown air heating. So on the left hand side here we've a on off switch. We just switch it on here, and now once it's on we'll go into the menu here. Now we can see our menu. So we've a temperature inside the van here, so we can turn that up or down. Every time we push this minus, it'll come down. I'll bring that down to more sensible temperature for you. This is your water heating. Water heating's kind of in the middle position. If you wanted no water heating at all, only heating the van, you could bring it down to nothing. Bring it up to its middle position, or if you wanted loads of hot water, say for showers or stuff, you could bring this up the full way. The next one is your electric setting. So it's on 3 kilowatt, the maximum at the minute. 2, 1 or 0, that's electric power off. That only works when you're plugged in your mains lead. So if you plug in your mains lead, it'll be using 3 kilowatts of power for heating. And the bottom one here is the gas. The wee green symbol is on, so it's on gas heating as well. We push that, it turns off the gas heating, and it's just using electric at the minute. And now back using gas, and electric is using both. Go into wee settings so you can change dates, times, the whole lot, but that's the gist of your heating. I'll just turn that off there for you. Now your heating system has a wee radiator system in it. So just in this wee press down beside the bed here on the driver's side, we have our all the fluid. This is the wee reservoir that holds the heating fluid. Now you can see here there's a minimum and maximum mark. This heating was on a wee bit earlier there, so it's up to the maximum mark. When it's cold, there's a good chance it'll sit down around the minimum mark. When it warms up, the fluid expands, it brings it up to max. So if it's cold, if your fluid's down at the minimum, slightly over the minimum, it's bang on. When it warms up, then it should be up at the max. We find if it's up at the max when it's cold, it's kind of too much in it, it'll find its level. to top that up, if we take off this top cover here, there's a wee lid in there if that ever needs to be topped up. Bless your Aldi fluid. Now do your fridge next. Excuse me. Now your fridge. The wee button on the left here is the main power button. We just hold that in for 2 or 3 seconds. Powers up the fridge. So we have a couple of power sources here. So on gas here at the minute. If we push this little square, it's just a little touch screen. Comes across the wee plug symbol that's using mains power. It's flashing at the minute because we're not plugged into the mains. If we plug it into the mains, that'll all run steady. And the next one across is 12 volt. That's using a battery. That only works when your engine's running, because it uses too much power. Flashing again because the engine's not running. And we push it again, we're back to gas, and you can see it all stops flashing now, so it's okay. And push it again, we have our wee A symbol here, automatic. It's the handiest one to use. Because we're not plugged in or the engine's not running, it automatically goes for the gas. If we plug in the mains lead, it'll change over to the mains. It'll light up the A and the wee mains plug here to tell you it's using mains power. And if we start the engine, it'll change over to 12 volt itself. So the automatic is the handiest. The next one across here is your power settings, your level of coldness, I suppose. So every time we push this little button here, it brings it up another level. So that's up to full cold. And this wee button here is, there's a wee heater in this freezer door frame. You'll find that frame there will warm up very slightly to stop the door freezing closed. So this wee symbol here, if we push that, that's the heater off. And if you've nothing lit up there, the heater's on itself. Now to turn that off, we just hold in this button for a couple of seconds here. Powers down the fridge. You've wee locks here, we just pull out. And that's into the fridge itself. So that's your fridge. Now around this side here we've the cooker. You have an electric ring on the back, left hand side is an electric ring. Only works when you're plugged in the mains again. And the rest of the rings are all gas. And just light up one of them here to light them. If we turn around, the valve is horizontal. It's on the full flame. We hold in the gas valve. We sparker buttons on the right hand side here. Once the gas lights, keep the button held in for a couple of seconds and you're away. Turn it down anti-clockwise the whole way for the low flame. Back to horizontal is the full flame, and all the way up turns it off. So the rest of them are all the same. For front ring, oven, grill here, and front left ring, and this is your electric ring here. This wee button here is a light in the oven. So that's all your cooker. Now just down behind the driver's seat here, in this top press, we have all our 12 volt fuses, and we have our mains trip switches there, similar to what you'd have in the house. There's a couple of main switches here for the charger and one for the heating. If you wanted them off, the mains power off to them for any particular reason, you could turn them off altogether. And just up on the top of the door here is a wee list that tells you what each trip switch or what each fuse is for. Now up over that box we have our satellite control. So basically our satellite, we have a main on off switch here, and we have a wee black button here is our up and down button, so I have it up already. Number 2 is the satellite you'll be using. If you want to change satellites for any reason, this little black button here, every time we push that, it'll come across to a different satellite. But number 2 is the one you'll be using. And your TV here, I'll just turn this on here. Yeah, that's it. And we can bring up a wee TV guide here. It'll show you all your different stations. So that's your TV. We'll just turn that off here. Now your TV down the back is exactly the same as the Avtex TV as well. We remote control here for it, and it's the exact same way of working. That's it there. We'll just power that down now. Now to close down the satellite, we'll just push this black button on the right hand side of it here. And that's it, closing down. If you start the ignition, if you start the van, the dish will automatically come down, set up that you can't drive with it up. So if your engine's running, your satellite will not come up. But that's your whole satellite there. Now to make up the bed in the centre of the van here, we've just moved about a couple of bits and pieces. This is the back cushion at the side facing seat. So we'll just lift this out of the way and we push back the base cushion here. We'll be able to see. You can see here this whole piece just slides out from underneath that side seat. There's a leg folds down underneath us. So just we can lift that up and fold that leg back up into place, and that goes back in out of the way. So that's your side facing seat. And here on the driver's side we have the bottom cushion and the table. If we set the table in there, this little lat piece that normally sits in there, we take out and set the table in there. And we just slide that out, and that's the back cushion behind this. This normally sits, if I get this out, this normally sits that way there. So use your table, just set your table in there and slide them forward, so that makes up your whole bed at the front. Now folks, the only other things to show you: your shower down beside the bed here, and then here to your toilet. Your toilet's just standard enough chemical toilet. We have a wee blue button on the back wall there for a flush, and we'll just lift up this lid here. You have a swivel seat, so you can turn the toilet out of your way, or you can bring it back around for more comfortable to use. To flush the toilet, we just push this wee blue button here on the pump, and that's it. The pump was turned off. That's it away now. But wee fan running on, and it's kind of built-in fan system in these, similar to a SOG unit. And to open the wee cassette, you have just a little lever down in the front here. If we push that over towards the right, opens the wee door, closes the wee door for your cassette. So that's your toilet. Then we just go outside and do a run around the outside here. Now outside, just in front of the habitation door, we have our gas bottle. If we just turn up and down this valve on the top of the bottle, open and close the gas, we'll just turn this clockwise fully. That's your gas switched off. Now you have two wee green buttons. These are little safety valves. If anything happens, they'll shut off the gas. So when you turn on your gas, just give that button a little press for 2 or 3 seconds, and you have a little one here on the regulator itself. Shows you down here your pusher button. Generally it's alright if you change the gas bottle. If the pressure drops on the van side of this regulator, that button will trip out, so you'll have to push that in. It's just a habit to push that in. Now we've our awning. We've our awning handle just on the ground here beside us. The end of it will go in just up here on the left hand side of the awning, just behind the passenger door. And we just wind the awning out And our wee legs, we recommend to wind the awning out till you can reach it fairly comfortably. We can see our wee leg is just up inside there. So if we get the end of the leg here, spring loaded, just push it over, and the leg will clip out. And just drop down the leg and slide it down. We have a little lock here, this little grey lever. So we recommend to lift the awning, use the leg to take the weight, and it's awkward with one hand, and just push that wee lock up, and that's your leg locked into place. We recommend to put the leg out and wind the awning over the leg, using the legs to support the weight of the awning. To put that back in then, and just push this down, and that'll all just push up there, sit in place, and we just lift the leg just back up here, just sit it in and just push it back to the left, and that's it, caught in place. This front one here is the same. Now as we come back, we've our wee toilet cassette here. To take it out, if we just lift up this little orange lever here, the cassette will come out, and I'll just lift it out here. Now, that's our cassette there. To empty that, if we turn out this little orange neck here, you can screw off that lid. That's a wee measuring cup for your chemical. If you're using a liquid chemical, put in your chemical in there. To empty that, just pour it out down wherever's appropriate. You've a vent button in the back here, the little orange button. If you hold down that orange button as you're pouring it, it just helps everything flow out a lot smoother. To pull it back in, just lift it up, just set it in, push it back in. That little orange lock catches in down here. We push in the next, and that's your toilet cassette. Now just behind that, just over the back wheel on the passenger side, we've our outside barbecue point. You've a wee nozzle there, it's just cable tied on there, so you can cut off that cable tie, you can put that onto your barbecue. That'll clip in there, and this little brass collar come forward. Once it's clipped in, you can turn on and off your gas to it then. Now your garage door on the passenger side, just inside here we've carpets, and there's a centre rafter there for your awning. The wee locks on the garage doors, with these wee locks here, just hold that out and it just sits in flush to the van when it's not in use. To catch the door, just open that out and we'll just push the door back into place, and it just catches in that rib in the centre of the door. Now just around to the driver's side. Now on the driver's side here, one thing I want to show you, just down here we've a little frost valve, little drain valve. This is a drain for the water heater. So if we lift that upright, we can hear it running there. That drains the water out of your water heater for the winter, to protect it in the winter and frost. Recommend doing that. If it gets frost damage, it causes big problems. So that's your drain for your heater for the winter. And now we can see just behind the back wheel on the driver's side, we have a little blue valve here. This is your drain for your fresh water tank. If you want to empty your fresh water tank, just turn that wee blue valve and it'll empty out your fresh water tank. Now just behind that, that's the exhaust for the heater. Now further up, just in front of the back wheel on the driver's side, we have our filler for our water heater. So you just stick your hose in there and you can fill that up. That's your water fill point. Just in front of that we have an outside shower point. So if I push back this blue collar, this wee cover just comes out, and you've all your fittings in that little bag there for your outside shower point. So it'll just clip in, just one of those kind of garden hose connections. It'll clip in there, and it's your outside shower point. Just put that back in there. That's that closed. Just a wee storage locker there on the left hand side. Now your batteries, are in this big long door on the right hand side. So we lift up that door there, the whole skirt lifts up, and we can see our 2 leisure batteries in here just behind the driver's door. 2 new batteries. This grey valve just on the back side of that door is your grey water waste, your sinks and shower, stuff like that. Just a big tap on the side of it there to open and close it. Now just on the driver's door, I don't think there's anything to see in there. Just around the front here at your bonnet, your dipstick is just down in front of the oil filler cap there, and your dipstick is just in front of it. The other stuff in here, we've our windscreen washer bottle just on the very side behind the headlight and driver's side. The rest of the stuff then your coolant, your brake fluid. Now if ever you have to jump start this van, there's a little black cover down here. We just lift that up. You've that steel piece in there underneath it. That's for your positive jump lead, your red jump lead. And go on there, I'll just cover that up. And your air lead goes on here, this little steel piece here, just in front of that yellow sticker, just right in the centre of the bonnet. That's your black, your air lead goes on there. Now your jack and wheel brace are underneath the passenger seat here. So we just lift up that centre piece. This door opens down, your jack and wheel brace are in that box. If we lift up that door, it'll unclip out, that whole box will slide out for you. So everything you need is in there. Your spare wheel is on the back of the van. And this is your bonnet pull, it's just on the side of the dash on the passenger side. Now just behind the passenger door then, we have our diesel tank. Just there, your diesel tank. So I think that's everything, folks. Hope you enjoy your van. Good luck with it.